Dr. Thompson here to continue our discussion of verb phrase structures. So, recall that we were at sentence number 8. The next example is the boss sounded angry. So what's going on here? The boss sounded angry. We know here that the subject of the sentence, who this sentence is about, is the boss. So we're going to identify that, and then we're going to forget about it. Subject plays no role in determining information about the predicate of the sentence. What determines information about the predicate? Everything within the verb phrase, everything that is occurring after the subject of the sentence. So you have sounded angry. We know that our first constituent will always be our verb group, which is here just comprised of sounded. We have no auxiliary verbs, so there's just the main verb sounded. And then we have angry, and this is where we have to think, okay, what is angry doing in this sentence? What is it giving you information about? Is it receiving the action of sounded? So when you say the boss sounded angry, does angry receive the action of sounding? That doesn't seem to work, right, in terms of the meaning. And in fact, we could think that angry is giving us information about the subject of the sentence, the boss, because it's describing the boss as having the property of being angry. So angry, in other words, in this sentence, is an adjective and therefore is an adjective phrase. And so the predicate of the sentence, the verb phrase of the sentence, is going to be comprised of just the verb group plus that adjective phrase. So you're going to have these two units, and you're finished with the structural analysis. Remember that you want to always assign what type of verb phrase do we have here. So because we have sounded angry, and we said angry is telling us about the boss, angry is going to be a subject complement, and therefore this whole thing is going to be considered to be intensive. So the whole verb group, the whole verb phrase, is of the intensive type. Let's look at our next example. So we consider her the best actress, and what is happening here? Again, first thing, pick out the subject of the sentence, which is going to be we. So we consider her the best actress. We is our subject, gonna forget about it. Look now at what's happening within the predicate. So we have consider her the best actress. Consider is the only verb in this sentence. How do we know that? We could do the test that we had from determining the syntactic category of words. So you could say, they considered her the best actress, or they will consider her the best actress. They consider her the best actress, in other words. Now, so you can vary the tense of this expression, therefore you know that it's the verb of the sentence. And then you have her the best actress. Well, if you wanted to know whether that whole thing might be a phrase, her the best actress, you could try to put it in subject position. So for example, if you said her the best actress won the award, that would sound like a really weird sentence, right? You could have just the best actress won the award, that would be okay. Or you could say her actress won the award, but putting together her plus the best, this doesn't work. So we know that her is a phrase separate from the best actress. And the question that we have is, what is the role of her and what is the role of the best actress here? So since it is the case that she is the one being considered, right? She's receiving the action of considering, you can say that this is the direct object and is therefore a noun phrase, which we knew already because this is a pronoun. So whenever we have a pronoun, we have a noun phrase necessarily. And then we have the best actress, determiner, adjective, noun, typical noun phrase. And again, we have to ask, what is the role of the best actress? What is the best actress doing here? It's describing her. It's not someone apart from her. It's not someone separate from her. Therefore, we say that this is the object complement. And therefore, the verb phrase is comprised of those three units. The verb group, the noun phrase, and the noun phrase. And because you have an object complement, you have a complex transitive verb phrase. So whenever you have an object complement, you will have a complex transitive verb phrase. Keep in mind that you can only have an object complement if you have what first? A direct object. So you can only have an indirect object if you have a direct object. You can only have an object complement if you have a direct object. So let's look at our next example. And we're going to have the sentence, the president of France was indiscreet. If you follow the news, then you know what we're talking about here, but we are not going to get into it. So the president of France was indiscreet. We know that the subject of this sentence is what? What if we said the subject of the sentence is the president? Well, then what would you ask yourself? You'd ask yourself, well, what about this of France? What is of France doing here? And you would see that of France is describing information about the president. It's the president of which country? Of France. So the president of France seems to be its own structural unit. It's the subject of the sentence. That is the individual who is described as being indiscreet. So our verb group within the predicate structure is going to be made up of just the verb was. This is the only verb that we have in the example. So this is the complete verb group. Indiscreet, we know, is an adjective phrase. How do we know that? Because you could say very indiscreet. If you can modify it with very, it has to be an adjective. And so together these form the verb phrase. And indiscreet, we said, is telling you about the president of France. Therefore, it serves as a subject complement, and therefore the type of verb phrase that you have in this example is intensive. Whenever you have a subject complement, you always have an intensive verb phrase. So let's look at the next example. Mary seemed ill. Again, your subject is the first thing you want to get rid of, Mary. So Mary seemed ill. You're going to forget about Mary, and you're just going to think about seemed ill. And you're going to think to yourself, okay, what's the verb group? It's just the word seemed. That's the only verb that you have there. That's the only thing that could be within the verb group. And then you have this ill. What is ill doing? Ill is describing Mary in this sentence. So in other words, what do we have? We have another subject complement. But what type of subject complement is this? Ill. Could we say Mary seemed very ill? Yes. Therefore, we have an adjective here, and thus an adjective phrase. So the type of noun of verb phrase is going to be the same as the type that we just looked at, intensive. Whenever you have a subject complement, it's intensive. So let's look at the last two examples. Jared threw the catcher the ball. Jared threw the catcher the ball, and already you know that that's going to be more complex because you've got two phrases there, the catcher and the ball. So Jared, being our subject, we're going to forget about. Threw the catcher the ball. Our verb group is made up of just our single verb here, our lone verb threw, which is in the past tense, so we know it's a verb. The catcher the ball. This is not a single phrase. It seems to be two noun phrases, the catcher and the ball. So what role does the catcher have? Well, is he the thing that is thrown? When you say Jared threw the catcher the ball, does Jared pick up the catcher and throw him? No. Why? Because the catcher is the one who actually receives the ball. And what is the thing that is thrown is the ball, the direct object. So the ball is going to be the direct object, noun phrase. The catcher is another noun phrase, although it's playing the role of indirect object. And therefore you have a ditransitive verb phrase. Notice that you could have had Jared threw the ball to the catcher. That would still be ditransitive because you have an indirect object and a direct object. It's just that you would have the structure with the direct object first and the indirect object second. But they're still exactly the same in terms of their meaning. They're still ditransitive. So let's look at the last example. Marissa glanced at the ceiling. We have subject, Marissa. We're going to forget about it. Glanced at the ceiling. So looking at our verb group, The only thing we have here, which is verbal, and it shows past tense, is glanced. So we're done with the verb group. And then we look at the ceiling. We know that at is a preposition. It's expressing location. So we're going to have a prepositional phrase here. And given that we have a prepositional phrase, we ask the question, well, what is this prepositional phrase doing in this sentence? Is it modifying the subject? Is it saying that Marissa is at the ceiling, like Marissa is somehow located on the ceiling? That's not the meaning, right? It's that the glancing takes place in the direction of the ceiling. So the meaning is more like a direct object. It's the thing that is looked at. But because we have the verb glance, we have to include the preposition at. And so we have a prepositional complement. The verb phrase is made up of the verb group plus the prepositional phrase, forming a prepositional verb phrase. So whenever you have a prepositional phrase as an obligatory complement to the verb, and that is serving as a prepositional complement, the type that you have is prepositional. Okay, we'll be back in a little while to talk about verb groups next. Thank you.